Hello, all of you. We are here today to discuss about another important topic, that is the resume. What are the key elements that should be put in a resume? As you all know, personal information, career objective, very important, and you need to write this on your own because the ATS will catch you. Education qualification, technical skills, projects and internships, training, workshops, and seminar if you have attended, extracurricular activities, your achievements, and reference if need be. Right now, let's build the resume. I'll take you through the parts of it. I'll strip every part of it and I'll take you through the anatomy of the complete resume. Now, first things first, never mention resume or CV on top of your resume. We as HR professionals, we know what it is, and you don't have to title it saying resume or CV. That is a wrong practice. Now, what is the first thing that you should mention? Your name in proper bold letters. You can choose to write however you want. You can choose to write your name, but if you have four or three names in your complete name, you can choose to write only first and the last name. For example, this guy's name is Rahul R Nayak. He's a friend of mine. So this guy's name is Rahul R Nayak, which is Rahul Rajshekhar Nayak, but here he will write only Rahul Nayak. Similarly, Shilpa Ramesh, right? So please don't completely expand your name. Write the first and the last name in the beginning. Now, in what else can you give in the first? Can you write your address, complete address? Can you write your full biodata, your gender, your locality, your nationality, everything? No, that is a wrong practice too. If you have seen some resumes, again, that is a wrong practice. Here, what next you can write as the phone number in the given proper format. How to write the phone number and why to write it in this format. +91 is your country code. The first three numbers of your mobile number is your service provider. The next three number your locality code. The last four numbers will be your unique numbers. So it should be written in the same format, right? Now, coming to the email address, I told you there are more than 40% resumes which get rejected of being having funny email ID, or right. For example, tell me, how many of you have Chinky, Minky, Pinky, Sonu, Monu, or MS10, CR7 in your email IDs? All of this is funny. It's okay to have one, but it's not okay to give it in your resume. So please always create a professional email ID, preferably in Gmail or in Outlook. Your email ID should look something like this. If the name is Rahul Nayak, Rahul.Nayak. See, I understand the Google or the Microsoft will not let you have your complete name because there are hundreds of people having the same name, but you can use numbers. How many numbers can you use? Can you put the whole phone number of yours here? No. You can only use your date of birth or year of birth, or maximum four numbers is what I tell. 2 to 4 numbers. So if his date of birth is 12th June, he can write Rahul Nayak 12 at gmail.com. If that is not available, Rahul Nayak 1206 at gmail.com. That is how you can have your email ID. Now, that is the first part of it. And LinkedIn. Tell me, how many of you have your LinkedIn profile? Why is having a LinkedIn profile gives you more advantage over the other personal? Because LinkedIn is a place where the professionals meet. This is where the company CEOs, the HRs, and everybody meet. And most of the time, the candidates are sourced through LinkedIn. That means they pick you from LinkedIn, looking at your LinkedIn profile, your skills. So that is why a LinkedIn profile is very important. So I request all of you, I urge all of you to please have a LinkedIn ID and see what LinkedIn is. And please don't use it like your Instagram or Facebook. LinkedIn is not for such people. If you are using it like Instagram or Facebook, it's not for you. If you want to use it as a professional person, now LinkedIn gives you more weightage in your resume. And if you are a person with who's blogging or who has a professional Twitter ID or portfolio of your like GitHub or HackerRank ID, you can mention it here. Certainly, you have a choice. Now, moving further, career objective. Your first part of the resume looks good now. What comes next? Your career objective. Why is career objective important, and what is a career objective? A career objective is a brief statement that expresses your professional goals. Now, if I ask you, what do you want to be? Why do you want to work? This is what defines you, right? Your career objective tells, okay, why does this person actually want to work? And how to write this career objective? Go to Google, type career objective, copy the open the first page, copy it and paste it in your resume. Beware, the ATS is watching you. What this ATS can do is it can check for plagiarism. It will scan your resume and it will check how much percentage of your resume is copied from the internet. So if your career objective is copied from the internet, guess where your resume is ending? In the dustbin, right? So how to write this career objective on your own, and how can you be unique from the others? So it's simple 3 steps. What relevant skills you possess, right? In which domain you are going to apply your skills. And the next one, what you expect in return from the company in terms of learning. See, we all expect money, we all work for money, but you are not supposed to be so deliberate when writing in your resume. You can't be greedy when you write things in your resume. Yeah, I work for financial stability, I want money. No, you should not be too discreet when you're writing in your resume, right? And these are the couple of examples where I've formed a career objective. The first one, this is for a marketing professional, right? If you are a marketing professional, you can write your career objective as a marketing professional with a warm and friendly demeanor always, skilled at effective negotiation, punctual problem solver, and an avid multitasker, right? Looking forward to be an essential part of a team and instrumental in providing effective solutions. The first and two, what relevant skills do you possess? The first part is here: skilled in effective negotiation, punctual problem solver, and an avid multitasker. What are you looking forward to? You're looking forward to exercise those things, right? Instrumental in providing effective solution defines you want to exercise your skills in the company to produce immediate impact and contribute to the establishment's long-term success. So that is what you want to give to the company, and that is what you are wanting back: success from the company. And these are a couple of examples how you can build your career objective. This is for an IT professional, a perfect one for engineers. If you are into computer science, you can use this. An IT professional seeking a challenging and rewarding opportunity with an organization of repute which recognizes and utilizes my true potential while nurturing my analytical and technical skills in the field of IT. Or if you want to keep it more general, to work for an organization which provides me with the opportunity to improve my skills and knowledge and grow along with the organization by fulfilling its objective, right? This is more general. Or you can use this also: to be involved in work where I can utilize skills and creatively involve with system that effectively contributes to the growth of the organization, right? So if you want, you can take a screenshot of it, but I'm telling you again, please do not copy the same. You know how to build one, you know what skills you possess, you know in which area you want to work. Please build your own career objective, right? And I suggest, for every job that comes, or for every company that comes to your college, or for every company that you are trying to apply, you will receive a job description, and the job description will say what kind of a job it is, what kind of a role it is, how much you are going to get paid, and all the other things. So only if you are interested, you will apply for the job, correct? So you can always define your career objective based on the job that you are applying, and that is the best way to catch recruiters attention, right? Now moving further, so now your name looks good, your career objective looks good. What comes next is your education. Now, putting it in the tabular column like I showed you in the first page of the resume, right? It is old fashioned now. You can consume less space and make it look more neat by writing it like this: education, your degree. If you are a computer science engineer, bachelor of engineering computer science. College, you can write your college name. And dates are very important when it comes to education, because a HR would want to know, does he have any gap in between? So please mention your dates while you're mentioning your education. So dates. And you should be writing your marks. It's okay to brag about your GPA. I'll tell you, if you are applying for a job which has a criteria of 60%, if you have less than 60%, you're not allowed in the first place. And if you have a company coming in and it tells 60%, You having 60.1% and your friend who is having 99.99% is the same for a HR. He would definitely look at you in the same way as he looks at the person who has 99%. Your marks doesn't define if you want to if you are eligible to get a job or not. You're already eligible. That is the criteria. You have already cleared the criteria. You have 60%, and you don't have to fight for that 99%. But having that 60% and having the ability to portray those skills in front of your HR is what is required. And how can you do it? Mention your proper GPA, and you can always talk about yourself. What have you done? What are the projects that you have worked on with your HR? I'll tell you, a resume and what you speak inside the interview room should go hand in hand, not hand on hand. What I mean is, you're not supposed to go through everything that is there in the resume when you are asked the question, tell me about yourself. If you do that, the HR will definitely get bored. What are you telling? I can see everything that is in the resume and you're repeating the same is what you will hear. But instead, if you just give a gist of it and you can tell more things about your likings, your hobbies, or your projects, your other activities that you have done, that gives you an advantage over others, by in cracking an interview, right? And education, your latest one first and the earliest one at the last. I know we have all scored good marks in 10th, and while coming up, we have scored less, but you cannot put more marks in the first and less marks in the last. Please don't do that mistake. Your highest degree first and the lowest one at the last. If you come with experience, only if you come with experience, you can mention your experience too in the same format. Your job title, your company, dates, and you can describe it in 2 or 3 lines what kind of a job and what role you have worked on, right? If only you come with an experience. Moving further, now skills. This is a very important and a tricky part to fill in. Now, what skills? What are the skills? For example, like I studied mechanical engineering, right? So I kind of know C, C++ too. I kind of know some other skills like Microsoft Office, Tally, and other things. Now, instead of mentioning here CATIA, ProE, Hypermesh, or CAD as my core skills, if I mention Microsoft Office, uh, digital marketing, or whatever, and apply for a mechanical engineering job, do you think I will get selected? Definitely not. That is why, while putting skills, you need to weigh them. You need to see what skills do I require? Do I mainly require for this particular job? You should mention them first. And there is always space to mention your extra skills, right? So mention those technical skills, your operating systems. If you know how to operate Windows, if you know how to operate Linux, if you are a computer science engineer, you can mention them. Programming skills, if you know C, Java, C++, you can mention them. Your testing skills. And then comes your other skills, your Microsoft Office, your digital marketing, other skills, right? So while mentioning skills, please be very careful. And please keep this thing also in mind. If you are mentioning Java, right? If you know Java and if you are mentioning only Java, me being a HR, what I understand is you are an expert in Java because you have only written Java and I see Java. So I would definitely ask an advanced level question in Java. But bad luck, you are a beginner in Java, right? What should you do in such cases? You can definitely mention Java beginner or beginner in Java or mediocre in Java, right? So that makes the HR set his mind to the basic level. Okay, this person knows the basic level of Java. I can ask basic questions. So it makes your life easier, the HR life easier, and everybody's life easier. Please don't think writing basics here will kick you out, no, throw you out of the interview room. No, definitely not. If you know particular things and if you can answer it, if you can tackle those questions asked by a HR, you can definitely click the interview. Now, moving further, projects and internships, and why putting this projects and internship is more important is, if you are a fresher, this projects and internships will stand equal to your experience. Now, why project and how many projects and internships can I put here? Sir, I have done 2 3 projects, main projects, or 3 4 mini projects. I've done 3 4 internships in good companies. I can put here, but the pages will increase. Definitely, your pages will definitely increase. You are not supposed to cross more than 2 pages being a fresher. So what can you put here? Now, as I told you, your resume should go hand in hand. which means you can weigh those projects and internship. First, if you think your project is a very good, your one project is very good, which is worth mentioning it in the resume, you can mention it. How can you mention it? Your project title, your organization that you have worked in, the duration, the team size, the project scope, role. For example, I worked in BMRCL, the Bangalore Metro. I would write the project name, the braking system. I worked on the braking system of Metro. Organization, BMRCL. Duration, 4 months. Team size, 4. What is the project scope? How to improvise the braking system in the Metro rail. I'll write 2 line, 3 line description about the project and what was my role. Right now, coming to internship, and I'll tell you, if you have more than 2 or 3 projects, choose one and put it here. The rest you can always have it in your secret box to open it in front of your HR, your interviewer. You can always talk about it, and then when you talk about that inside the interview room, he will like you more. The HR will like you more, right? And if you have done internships, you can mention your internships in the same similar manner. Internship name, organization, duration, team size, project scope, and your role in the internship. Right? See, I know, I understand. Internship, your role would be walking around with your friend and talking. Find a proper role when it comes to your internship and your project and name it. Now, moving further, activities, extracurricular activities, your achievements. See, students, you will have to understand one thing. When it comes to extracurricular activities are different and co-curricular activities are different. Mentioning extracurricular activities here and writing all your academic certificates or academic activities under this doesn't make any sense. Extracurricular activities are those activities which you do apart from the studies. HR would definitely want to know what other things can he do. Is he a bookworm or is he anything more out of the book? So this is your chance to mention your relevant activities, your passion, if you have worked in an NGO, if you are a part of NSS, NCC, or if you have learned many languages, your certifications, if you are a part of event management team, you can mention it all here. This is your space. Use it properly, right? And extracurricular activities are, I know how to do TikToks, I know how to do cooking. I am a good cook. I do rangolis. Not here, please. Please don't use this space to mention all those things. Now, moving forward, your achievements and awards. Please mention those achievements and awards which you think is portrayable to the others. I have won lemon and spoon. I have won sack race in my third or fourth standard and first prize too. But can I mention it here? Definitely not. This is a resume. This is a professional document. If you have won any award in your college, in your engineering, right, you can mention those things here. And if you have been a part of hacker rank or any other competition, and if you have achieved something, you can mention it here. And please use this space very wisely. And academic awards first, and then extracurricular activities awards, which means if you have sports achievements, you can mention it later, but first your academic achievements, right? And use this space. And if you have more than 15, 20 achievements, please choose what to put. As I told you earlier, you can keep the rest in your secret box. So that secret box to be opened in front of the interviewer, right? Now, moving further, your personal details. And here we come to the last part of the resume. If you ask me, sir, why personal details? Again, we have already given the details in the beginning. So these details are different. This is your complete full name. Like I told you, if the name is Rahul R. Nayak, you need to mention it here. Rahul Rajshekhar Nayak, full expanded name. The father's name, his gender, the nationality, the date of birth, passport number if provided, or Aadhaar number works fine, your address, right? And this should be there in any resumes. This gives you, or you can write your alternate number also. There are many people who give one number and which they are not reachable on. If the company wants to reach you, or if it wants to do a background verification, this is where this information helps, right? Now, and this is what the complete resume looks like. Your first name, your phone number, email ID, LinkedIn profile, your career objective, education details, experience. If you have, you can mention experience, the skills, the projects and achievements, awards, personal details, and all done in 2 pages. Neat and fine. I would definitely pick this over the first resume. Look how neat and how presentable this is. Correct? Now, here are a few examples of such resumes, right? This is one which you have already seen. This is for a person who has
Thank you for
experience.
listening.